kicked off the UFC Contender Series. How does that sound?
Oh, it sounds great. Great. I've been waiting a long time to hear those words.
I know, that's a lot of hard work, right? The journey must have been surreal.
Yes, yeah. It was a 10-year journey, and it finally, came true.
That's awesome, man. It was an exciting fight. But, okay, so we have a good friend, Michael Davis. He was on UFC Contender Series as well. He fought. How was, we kind of heard from him the experience, but I kind of want your experience because a lot of people don't know what it's like to hear that you're on the UFC Contender Series. Fly out to Vegas. Your dreams are coming to fruition. What was that experience like? What was your initial reaction? Give us the play-by-play.
Well, it was after my fight in Minnesota, I believe in April. Like a few hours later, they text me and were like, "Hey, we'd like you to fight on the Contender Series." They already had a date. They didn't have an opponent or anything. Of course, I had to talk to my manager, and I said yes. So right there, I was excited, and then training camp pretty much started then. You never want to get out of shape after you're already in shape. So. Yeah. That was great. So I had a great training camp, and then they flew me out there to do like all the before, all the video stuff.
Yeah, media obligations.
Yeah, 3 weeks before the fight. So I got to experience Vegas a little bit, and and then I flew back home, and before I knew it, it was time to go right back. So it was a good experience,
That's awesome. That's exciting. Dave and I were kind of talking about it. So obviously, Stipe DC, that fight just happened. Daniel Cormier had an impressive performance, but Stipe is probably the most decorated heavyweight of all time. You got Brock coming back. So as a heavyweight moving up the rankings, how do you see the landscape? How do you see yourself fitting into the heavyweight division?
Well, I see a lot of these guys I grew up watching. They're starting, they're tail end of their career, and so I can see myself in the next couple of years, possibly taking this spot. And I'm ready to fight, and whoever they put in front of me, I'm ready to go.
Wow, that's awesome, bud. Hey, you train with Stipe, right? You train out of Ohio?
Yeah, I'm one of his teammates.
So how's that? Like your teammates, it's like being a teammate of LeBron James or a Michael Jordan. To us, Stipe's the greatest heavyweight of all time. How's it training with him, being a teammate day in, day out?
Yeah, that's what I always say, too. I always say he's the LeBron James of MMA,
Wow.
And really, it really changed when I started training with him. I was always a decently talented guy. I had a good amateur career, and I was having a decent professional career so far, and then I switched gyms, and I just watched the way he trained and how serious he took it, and how he completely. I mean, it was dedicated his life to it, and I that from that day on I changed, and I owe a lot to him just from watching him and getting to actually train with him. Man, he's like having another coach in the room. He's so smart when it comes to MMA.
That's awesome. Everybody that listens to the Locked In podcast knows I'm a LeBron guy. So whenever you say LeBron James in the sentence, I'm completely agreeing with you. How about that? But as far as Stipe, and obviously you're a teammate, you're a little biased, and I completely understand, but I do believe he deserves a rematch with DC. Obviously, Brock Lesnar is a big pay-per-view draw, but from a fan perspective, obviously someone that's in the game now, do you believe he deserves that rematch immediately? Do you find that as disrespectful almost that Brock just gets that opportunity?
Yeah, I understand both sides of it. I understand UFC, they're in the money game, that they're here to sell fights, and everybody wants to watch Brock Lesnar. You hate him, you want to see him get beat up, you love him, you're a WWE guy, you want to watch him, win 2 belts, So, but no, I do. I think Stipe deserves it. He's the best heavyweight of all time, and if you watch that fight, it wasn't very long, but Stipe was doing everything. He was winning that fight, and then that one eye poke, man, changed everything. I'm not saying that's the reason DC won, but I'm saying, let's run it back. Let's see him, get a shot at his belt,
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And especially how Stipe is. Stipe was a fighting champion. He was putting, to me, heavyweights back on the map. They had this little lull a couple years ago that it wasn't what it was. Stipe deserves, to me, the immediate rematch. He's the greatest heavyweight fighter ever. Him versus DC2 would be a big pay-per-view buy rate. And you still have Brock Lesnar on the back burner if they wanted to do the winner to fight Lesnar. So I think Stipe definitely should get that rematch right away.
I agree.
And last question, one of the questions for you, you said you were watching a lot of the heavyweights are almost on the way out. Is there one, you've been watching over years and, just being a fan of the game? Is there a heavyweight be like, oh, my gosh, I want to fight Mark Hunt? Mark Hunt would be a great fight for me. He's been on the podcast before. He was an awesome interview. Is there someone like that? Or, what's one of your favorites that you would want to get into the octagon with?
Well, I grew up loving Mark Hunt. I still do to this day. He's one of my favorite fighters out there. His attitude is just great. I don't know if I want to get hit with that right hand, but
it's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a great dude, but the guy this is going back probably 12, 13 years now, was Andre Arlovski, when he was just killing everybody.
Yeah.
I think he's at the tail end of his career, and he's almost became a gatekeeper. And that would be a great fight. I don't know if I'm going to catch up to him by the time he says, he's done with the sport, but, I feel like I'm a couple fights away from, getting the opportunity to fight somebody like that.
Andre Arlovski's probably been one of my favorite heavyweights of all time. I grew up watching him. He wasn't just an equalizer, too. I watched that last night, and I saw Andre in there. Denzel beat the crap out of him. I mean, I understand it's a movie, but I think I could see you in the octagon with him.
We got to make a phone call, Max. We got to make this lights out Arlovski matchup sooner. We got to make it happen for you, my man.
Awesome.
But okay, so people that listen to this interview, they like you, they want to see more of you. Where can they find you on social media, platforms, sponsors, anything you want to plug away? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I switched everything up. I made things a lot more simple, and everything's just Jeff Hughes MMA. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Yeah, I'm still working on some sponsors. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but I have a sponsor, Turp House, CBD oil. They hooked me up, and, obviously thank my coaches, friends, and family.
Awesome. Hey, well, we'll send out a Locked In shirt for you so you can rep the Locked In for you. How about that?
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for giving us your time. Hope you have a great day, my man.
You too. Thanks.
Right, bye.
Bye.
What's up, everybody? Hope you enjoyed that interview with Jeff Hughes. Dave, how'd you like it?
He is lights out.
Yeah.
I like it. I think I am a die-hard heavyweight fan. I love it. I think that's what we had Mark Hunt on the show. We had Stephen Mowry on the show. We hung out with that Stefan Struve. I love heavyweights. I love the one-night knockout power. I'm a Brock Lesnar guy. I'm a heavyweight guy.
They're the most intimidating people in the world, but they're the nicest at the same time. So it's like a love-fear relationship. Not love-hate, love-fear. That makes sense?
Actually makes perfect sense.
And I think everyone's like, oh, the UFC pay-per-view ratings are down, and I put it in the Locked In community, like the page to join the community, and everyone had a different reaction as far as maybe it's the matchups, it's the pay, it's the oversaturation of the business. Why don't we just help Sean Shelby after Mark Hunt, he fights? Let's get Jeff Hughes and Mark Hunt in there. Jeff Hughes, Andre Arlovski. I think that's definitely a pay-per-view winner.
Cuzzo, you're making money. I love it. I think those are two great ideas. I love your analogies. We're definitely on point. Yeah, I loved it. It was a great interview, and I can't wait to talk about the fights this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get into UFC 227 and more.
All right, stay locked in.
We want to start off with Fit Meals. MyFitMeals.com. Dimitri will hook you up with a meal that is best for you, your plan, your diet, your schedule. It's easy, it's quick, it's healthy. Right, Dave?
Oh, yeah. If you want to lose 10 pounds, if you want to gain 10 pounds of good lean muscle, whatever you need, just call Fit Meals. 844-FIT-4-YOU.
Also, we want to say Pep-Boys. If you have any issues with your car, Richie will hook you up. He anything you need, whether your car's doing a do issue, bad tires, anything you need, go to Pep-Boys.
And if it's hot, it is summer still, so if it's hot, you need help on your air condition. Richie, Pep-Boys, Daytona Beach, Florida.
And lastly, we want to say thank you to Wicked Cutz, mentioned Locked In. They have 2 locations, one in Port Orange, one in Daytona Beach. Get back in the game, get a fresh cut, affordable prices. Download the Booksy app to book an appointment so you don't have to wait in those long lines. And like I said, mention Locked In.
If you want to look as good as Mike Davis did on the UFC Contender Series fight, his hair was fly as hell, go to Wicked Cutz, all right?
There we go.
All right, Max, we got this weekend UFC 227.
I'm excited.
2 big fights, 2 huge title fights, 2 big title rematch fights.
Yeah, I'm extremely excited, but I know you have a bold statement,
bold
prediction with Henry Cejudo and Demetrius Johnson.
It's big.
So go ahead.
You ready?
Yep.
Floor's mine?
The floor is yours.
I got it, guys. This is it. The title reign is over. Maybe the greatest champion of all time, Demetrius Johnson, Henry Cejudo, wins this match. I don't know if he catches him. I don't know if it's a 5-round unanimous decision. It's a gut feeling. I had this feeling 10, 12 months ago with Rose Namajunas beating Joanna. Henry Cejudo wins the flyweight championship.
That's huge.
That's bold. I'm going with it.
That is bold.
Who do you got winning, Cuzzo?
I have Demetrius Johnson, but like I said, if there's any fighter to upset this streak, to beat Demetrius Johnson and end this whole reign, this dynasty, it would be Henry Cejudo. He's an Olympic wrestler with good power in the division, great competitor, very smart, very intelligent. He fights very calculated. He doesn't fight with emotion. So it would be him. So that's the limb I will give you. But I'm not going to go as far as it actually comes to fruition. I believe Demetrius Johnson, the Mighty Mouse, wins again. And he extends his streak to an unbelievable, I think it's like 12 or 13 title defenses, broke Anderson Silva's record. He's pound for pound the best.
He really is. It's like he's such an underrated fighter in a way. If he's a middleweight, light heavyweight, or heavyweight, he's the biggest fighter in the game. Anderson Silva level, Stipe Miocic level. It's unbelievable, and he doesn't get the respect he deserves. And I'm not trying to. I just think it's Henry's time. It's no disrespect to DJ Mighty Mouse. I just think it's Henry Cejudo's night.
Henry Cejudo. There you go. You had it the first time.
I know, man.
But
so close to being great.
I'm even more excited for this Cody No Love versus
TJ Dillashaw.
Cody Garbrandt is an amazing fighter, but I had TJ winning the first time. Obviously, that happened when TJ landed that head kick from hell.
He did.
But
Cody did have him in the end of the first round, though.
He did. It was an exciting fight.
It was. If that round went 20, 30 seconds more, who knows, right?
It'd be different.
Yep.
It'd be a different situation. But I believe Cody had a lot going on with that fight. It's not an excuse, but I think it was. I was talking to John Radford from Pete White Boxing and MMA, a.k.a. The Professor, and he said it was just such a fundamental mistake. It was a head kick that was so, it's easy to say predictable from the outside of the octagon. I'm sure inside was a lot different. But I think it's a mistake that he can definitely capitalize on, and he sees the angles. He was very keen on the angles, and he thinks Cody's going to have better angles. And I believe Cody's going to come with more composed. I don't think he's going to let the emotions get the best of him. I think he'll fight more intelligently. I think Cody does it. I think he does it, and I know your favorite word in MMA is trilogy.
And that's what I want. I'm a TJ Dillashaw guy. I am rooting for TJ, but yeah, I want Cody to win this fight to set up a trilogy fight.
I think TJ is actually the slight favorite, according to Vegas, too. So it's, TJ. So it's definitely going to be a tough fight for both fighters, but I think Cody does it. I really do.
Yeah, I'm with you with that one, too. And Dominic Cruz is in the division.
Yeah.
And Dominic should get probably the winner because I'm a trilogy guy, but I can wait. Let's have this trilogy a year from now, a year and a half from now. Like I said, if Dominic can beat Cody, that can set up a trilogy there. Because of this can set up a trilogy of trilogies.
It's a love triangle. And Dominic Cruz says he wants to make a return in 2018. And it's kind of like, how do you not give him that fight? But at the same time, like you just said, the trilogy would be the biggest fight. They're head and shoulders above everybody else in the weight division. It's the Three Musketeers up top. It's the Mount Rushmore of the division.
I like the Three Musketeer analogy.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore I think is 4, so let's just say they got rid of one of those.
Abraham Lincoln does not make it.
Yeah, you got to go, buddy. But,
oh, man. So, okay, we both have Cody. You have DJ, and I got Henry.
Yeah.
Okay.
DJ and Cody.
UFC 227. Man, I'm excited for the pay-per-view just because of these two fights, and I think neither of the four gets the notoriety that they deserve. Oh, Cuzzo, we got a call coming in.
We do, huh?
Okay, let's see who it is.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing, sir? Is this the legend himself calling in?
Yeah, I guess. Not so well, apparently. I always forget everything. I'm terrible.
Oh, it's all good, brother. How you doing, man? Yeah, this is John Gunther, UFC Ultimate Fighter in the house. And you got that big W just last month. It was, July 6th at the finale. How you feeling from that fight?
Feel pretty good. I'm not beat up. I always wish I'd do better, but yeah, super excited.
That's awesome. Dave and I were just talking about it. Max here, by the way. We were just talking about it earlier. Lightweight's probably the most stacked division in the UFC. We have Conor coming back, Khabib, obviously, Tony Ferguson. like Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez. What is it like fighting in such a crazy division?
Yeah, there's a bunch of beasts. I mean, it's exciting. I want to be fighting the toughest guys in the world, so this is the division to be in. I just got to win enough that I can try to stay in the UFC. That's the key.
Iron sharpens iron, though. So, I mean, if you're surrounded by beasts, you'll become a beast. You already are a beast, so that must be a good way of looking at it.
Right. Should be fun.
John, I think you should gain 10 pounds or lose 10 pounds. That division is murderer's row, man. That division's crazy.
Well, I gained 10 pounds I'm very good at gaining weight. A little slower losing weight, but no, yeah, I mean, that's where I want to be. I want to fight the toughest guys in the world. That is murderer's row, you know, and, shoot, that's the challenge. That's what I enjoy about fighting.
Hey, John, you're fighting out of Ohio. We actually just had Jeff Hughes on the show. Are you a teammate with Jeff Hughes and Stipe up there in Ohio?
Oh yeah. He just won the Contender series. He just won his fight and got that contract. Super exciting. Yeah.
That's awesome. We were when we were talking to Jeff, we told him our guy is Michael Davis. He was just on the UFC Contender Series. He's a featherweight, borderline lightweight, so that's just another guy, another scary guy coming into the division for sure. But we were talking we were talking with Jeff, and we're like, hey, we're trying to make Sean Shelby his job easier, and we think he should fight locked-in alumni Mark Hunt, who has a fight coming up, or he even mentioned Andrei Arlovsky. What do you think about that matchup?
That would be fun. I mean, that would be awesome. I'd love to see that fight. That would be cool.
Very cool. John, like your next fight, do you have anything in the works? Would you want to fight another fighter out of the house, or would you want to fight an older fighter that you've seen through the game the last 2, 3, 4 years that you think you can knock him off the pedestal?
Obviously, when you lose to someone, you always want to get that fight back. So I'd love to fight Giannetti. I'd love to try to redeem myself and show that I can change a couple of things, and that's a totally different fight. But, obviously, I don't get to be the matchmaker, so I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, absolutely. The other 2, 3 fights you had since that, you look like a totally different fighter. Sometimes shit happens, right? Or sometimes, like you said, you didn't look like yourself. So I think that's a great rematch to make in the near future for you.
Yeah, I would love that rematch, but we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Well, we're trying to make Sean Shelby's job easier, so maybe they'll take our advice. I just ran an idea by you, and I was 2 for 2, so who knows? But okay, we just saw the UFC Contender Series. Obviously, Jeff Hughes. I mentioned Michael Davis. You're coming from someone who fought on the Ultimate Fighter. Is there do you think one is better than the other? Like, how do you feel about the two? Do you think UFC Contender Series is taking over? What was your experience like? Kind of give us that exclusive detail.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really done the Contender Series.
Yeah.
So I can't speak to it that well, but I mean, the Ultimate Fighter was awesome just because, it's just a cool experience. Just the tournament style and getting to fight one of the, it didn't really go my way, but yeah, it was just fun to put yourself through that type of challenge where you're fighting back to back like that instead of just showing up and fighting. It's kind of more like every other fight, and just getting that whole experience of, just being away from everybody else and locked in a house. It was really cool.
Yeah, people look at it as, oh, well, you're fighting too much, or it could be almost too much of a hard course. But in a way, I think it has a lot of benefits, too. Like you just said, being in the house, being around other fighters, but getting the elite coaching from these elite fighters, having Dana White see you more often, having these elite fighters able to vouch for you because they see your game more. Instead of just one sample of a fight, you have a whole span of weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just like a bucket list thing, like how many people can say that, they were on like a TV show or, it's just a cool experience and just kind of a cool challenge.
Wow, John, awesome. We appreciate you coming on the show so much. We see there's a lot of good things from it. Your following is really, you're starting to build. I know you got the mustache going. I know the T-shirts are selling out. We're really excited.
Yeah, that's all I have going, but we'll milk it for whatever it's worth.
Hey, you said it. If you don't have personality, you got to grow a mustache, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It's the best replacement for personality.
That makes perfect sense.
I know, it really does. I love it. Hey, John, we appreciate your time. Anything, your social media platforms, any kind of sponsors, anything you want to get out there, the platform is absolutely yours, and we want to thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, yeah. If people could follow me or follow me on Blind on Instagram or John the Machine Gunther on Facebook. That would be awesome. And yeah, so thank all my sponsors. Walmart, Wiener Schnitzel. Nah, I wish I had sponsors. But yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, I just gave you a follow right now.
Oh, awesome. One more.
There we go, man.
One follow. Yes.
We'll spread the word, my man. Thank you so much. Yeah, you can come on the show anytime. We appreciate your time. Have a kick-ass training camp, and we'll see you in the near future, my man.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Wow. Cuzzo, we're just rolling. We're just rolling. That was John Gunther, UFC Ultimate Fighter, representative. He won that July 6th fight at the Palms. I think he's got a bright future. He's a gritty fighter. I like him a lot.
I do too, and the interview was obviously spectacular, but his Instagram page is even more spectacular. I just said I was following him. I'm on it right now, and he's like, follow me blind. I'm like, I've never heard of that, but kind of a blonde moment. It's his IG thing.
Ooh.
That's pretty smooth. Follow me blind.
So he got you.
Follow me, I'm blind. Even better. That's what it says.
Awesome. So that's John Gunther, guys. The Machine, Facebook, Instagram. Give him follows, give him likes, give him all that good stuff. Tell him that Locked In sent you. Hey, Cuz, are you done? You have anything else on UFC 227? I know John called in.
I do.
Okay, let's roll with it. Keep rolling.
It's my Locked In.
Ooh.
Here we go. Save the best for last, getting locked in. And if you guys have any issue with it, please leave a comment on any podcast platform, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher Radio.
Download and subscribe.
5 stars. Also, you can go on Facebook, like the page to join the community. So here's my Locked In.
Yes, sir.
I think Cody and Dimitri win.
Okay.
But I both think they finish their opponents. And I think Cody wins round 2 TKO. And I think Dimitri wins round 2 TKO.
So 2 round 2s TKO.
Say that 5 times fast. Don't do it. I know you're going to do it too.
Oh man, it's this weekend, UFC 227. I kind of bit the bullet quick. It was so big and bold. My Locked In, I'm just going to go all in with it. Henry Cejudo wins the flyweight champion of the world. Biggest upset maybe in the UFC history? Is it a top 5 biggest upset ever?
Oh, absolutely,
okay,
especially if most people regard Demetrius Johnson as the pound-for-pound great.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If you're wrong, you will get embarrassed all week on social media. It will be posts about it. But if you are right, you will be praised all week.
I love being praised.
So it could either be your downfall or your rise to the top. There's a lot of pressure on this one.
Hey, life's good, man. I got a beautiful wife. The family's great. The podcast is on fire.
But
nothing can get me down, Cuzzo.
On the side note, it'll say you were wrong about Cejudo.
All right, guys, we got to go.
As always, everybody, stay locked in.